go to our OutKick YouTube page and subscribe, and, of course, comment. Dakich, you're racist. You look like a foot. Yeah, go ahead. What do I care? Anyway, it's easy. Subscribe, ring the bell. I don't know. Do whatever you got to do. But, hey, you'll like it. I got Ricky, which I will be on after this show. Of course, Tommy's all over that. Clay's all over that. Hot Mike's all over that. Myself, we got Tyrese. We got everybody. Riley Gaines, you name it. We got him right there on the OutKick YouTube page. Hey, I love Kim Mulkey. I love a little fight. I love a little throwback to the media. The world is all up in arms. Kim Mulkey's team in the Elite Eight got beat, and some little douchebag reporter, which apparently he's a student. I don't know if that's true or not. So, you know what? If he is, tough. Don't be in the room. If you're going to ask stupid questions or act in an arrogant, stupid way, don't be in the room. It's just a kid. Don't be in the room. Why do we not hold people to a high standard? People say that he's just a kid. I guess. I don't know. Then don't be a dumbass. I love what Kim Mulkey had to say. Here's what Kim Mulkey had to say after a 72-65 defeat to top-seeded UCLA in the Elite Eight. This was the second consecutive season the Tigers have beaten in the Elite Eight. All right. Well, the exchange gets a little testicles. Here's the exchange.
Jaden Smith, KLSU Sports. Coach, it's the second straight year you guys get eliminated in the Elite Eight. Yeah. Terrible.
How many Final Fours you play in?
None.
So it's probably pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I like it. I played in Final Fours. I have. I played in a lot of Final Fours. If she was going to ask me that question, I said, I don't know, high school, about 100 different tournaments in my life, so shut the hell up, lady, but I like her. Because more people should come at the media. I've told you this before, and I'll tell you this again. Sitting up there looking at this throng of douchebags is like, it hit me. I'm like, why am I wasting my time talking to these idiots? And then I got to know them. And then these idiots became, well, why would I waste my time talking to these arrogant idiots? Anyway, people don't like it. People don't like it. Of course, Kim Mulkey's an easy target because she wins. She goes at people. And let's be honest, she seems a little mean, but I don't care. I like it. Here's Stephen A. Smith's response.
That you just said, I'm not going to take away from the fact that Kim Mulkey is a great coach and an established coach. We just need to finally say this about her. She's very rude. She's very rude. She's very, very rude.
Yes, very condescending.
I mean, she's rude, she's condescending, and unnecessarily so to too many people. But it's always with the right one. See, she don't go up to the wrong ones like that. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like she knows, Shannon, who to do that to and who not to do that to. Because certain people you do that to, they're going to clap back at you. But she is a phenomenal coach, one of the best ever. But she's just a very, very rude person.
Yeah, she's a great coach.
Yes.
Those dumbasses who couldn't be ruder to people, couldn't be more condescending to people, and couldn't be dumber, are going to comment on somebody else being rude. See, I love the media because the media gathers. The media gathers and they come at you when they are attacked because, well, that's all they got. Because they don't want it exposed. They don't want the fact that none of them that sit in that room and listen to a Kim Mulkey or listen to a Mike Krzyzewski back in the day or a Bob Knight or a John Shire now or a Bruce Pearl, they know these people have no idea what they're talking about, and they don't want that exposed. Good for Kim Mulkey. You want to say or you want to act like going to an Elite Eight is bad? Let me give you something. My school, right over this shoulder right here, is considered one of the premier basketball programs in America. Do you know how many Final Fours, do you know how many Elite Eights Indiana University men's basketball has been in? 11. In over 100 and some years. 11. That's it. 11. Getting to an Elite Eight is great. Getting to Elite Eight is spectacular. Of course everybody wants to win a national championship. Of course everybody wants to get to a Final Four. I mean, damn. But to have some little pain-in-the-ass student ask a question like it's a disappointment to get that far, you should learn something from an adult. You should learn And you should be made sport of if that's what it's going to take for you to learn. And I have no problem with it. I'll tell you something else. Listening to these two clowns, Stephen A. Smith, talk about somebody being rude is kind of funny to me. It really is. Because nobody is ruder. Nobody is more condescending. And nobody has more arrogance without accomplishment than Stephen A. Smith. Think about it. What, he does his show? That's okay. I mean, they act like it's this most watched show. It isn't. Nobody ever has been more arrogant with less accomplishment than Smith. Never played, couldn't play, and he ought to just sit one of these out, but I get it. You got to do it so people like me will talk about you. Shannon Sharp claims that Mulkey has been nasty for years. See if you can understand this guy when he speaks.
I don't believe so. Kim Mulkey has been nasty for a very long time, and she's gotten away with this type of behavior because she is a national champion winning coach.
Oh, so she has a history of doing this.
He has a history of doing this.
Okay.
The same thing with Bobby Knight. Bobby Knight had a history of said behavior, but because he was a national champion winning coach, you excuse said behavior. Remember, people excuse behavior if you win, if they like you. Kim Mulkey has been nasty for an extremely long period of time. If this is unacceptable for an athlete to say, well, how many times have you caught a pass in the NFL? How many times have you scored a basket in the NBA? How many times have you struck somebody out of it? That would be unacceptable. This is unacceptable for Kim Mulkey.
What do you mean it's unacceptable? That's just a stupid person saying a word he's heard. What do you mean unacceptable? She did it and it's been accepted. Why can't a player say, how many times have you caught a touchdown pass? What's so rude about this? Name nasty. Is nasty putting out a sex tape like Shannon Sharp did? I mean, that's what he did. Everybody thought he was gay for a minute. Next thing you know, he's putting out a sex tape. That's nasty. This is just a woman asking a question at a press conference. There ain't nothing nasty about it. Bobby Knight, oh, shut up. I was there 17 years. I never saw that dumbass there one time. One of the Sharps was stooping a really hot woman at IU, though. I don't know which one it was. I remember going, hey, she was from Denver. So whatever one of those clowns was playing in Denver, that's the one I always heard. Don't know if it's true. But I never saw Shannon Sharp at Indiana for 17 years. No, Shannon. Nasty is putting out a sex tape. Nasty is having people whisper, hey, he might be gay, so leaving a recorder on while you're doing whatever the hell it is to whomever the hell you're doing it. That is nasty. Responding to a press conference, there ain't nothing nasty about it. Responding to a perceived slight. See, I've said this forever. The only human being alive that gets credit or gets put on a pedestal for responding with a chip on their shoulder is Michael Jordan. We all have those chips. I do. I mean, I've used that chip to go from the worst athlete ever to playing at Indiana at a time when Indiana was the best basketball program in the country. I've used that chip to become the number one host in America in terms of afternoon radio. I've used that chip in many, many ways, but nobody's allowed to do it except Michael Jordan. The big mumbles here would say, well, Michael Jordan, he's got that chip on his shoulder. That's what drives him. Kim Mulkey's got the same chip. But it doesn't drive anybody except Michael Jordan. See, media knows who they can pick on. If you pick on Michael Jordan, people aren't going to come back at you. They're just going to laugh at you and say you're an idiot. And Mumbles over here has no idea that everybody, look, Shannon Sharp, may be the biggest, strongest dude in America. He is. I mean, he's ripped. I saw something the other day with Gronk talking about, hey, you know what? The best built tight end, the prototype, is Shannon Sharp. So maybe he didn't have that chip. I don't know. But a lot of us do. And Kim Mulkey does. And if these idiots can't understand that, that's because, well, they're idiots. I mean, damn, why does Michael Jordan get to be the only guy that every idiot in the media says, hey, man, he's got that chip. No, that's just Jordan, man. He's got that chip. Nobody else gets that. Kim Mulkey has it. Kim Mulkey showed it. And Kim Mulkey is to be praised for it. Just because you get a press credential doesn't mean you can stand up there, sit up there, and ask idiotic, insulting questions of anybody and not expect them to come back at you. I get it. It hurts Shannon Sharp's feelings. I get it. It hurts Stephen A. Smith, Greg Doyle, and all the little minions in the media's feelings because they're the only ones allowed to talk. They're the only ones allowed to, criticize. They're not allowed to be criticized. I've taught you that over the years here. But it's asinine, it's idiotic, and these two fools, they get so sensitive every day when somebody doesn't do what they want them to do, and it's kind of funny to me, and I can't wait to talk about it every day. Ben Nasty. Nasty's putting out a sex tape, son. That's nasty. On purpose. To show I'm not gay. What? So what if you are? Who cares? That's nasty. And you've been nasty a long-ass time, Shannon Sharp, so shut the hell up. Monica McNutt, speaking of somebody that should shut the hell up, my God. I mean, the WNBA cannot wait to implode. Did you see yesterday? Yesterday was like WNBA, or it was Trans Visibility Day. And the WNBA promoted it. I wonder how many of these little gals that play in the WNBA would be excited if I all of a sudden said I was a girl and at 62 years old I led the league in scoring, which I probably could. No, they wouldn't be too excited. Trans Visibility Day wouldn't be a thing if all of a sudden the last guy on every bench in the NBA decided, I feel pretty today, I feel like a girl, I'm going to go kick all of your ass, or the 17th man on a high school team decides, you know what, I'm going to go play WNBA basketball, I feel like a girl. Your visibility wouldn't be much. I thought that was funny, but that isn't the problem. See, the WNBA and all the people that follow the WNBA and try to promote the WNBA don't understand that Caitlin Clark's game resonates with us. I say this every day, and every day I got to deal with somebody else dumb in the media. Caitlin Clark's game resonates because she's got flair, she's got flash, she's got style. I said this before, and I'll say this again. We saw Sue Bird's game. We saw Diana Taurasi's game. Kim Mulkey was Sue Bird before Sue Bird became Sue Bird. We've seen it. We haven't seen Caitlin Clark. We have not seen Caitlin Clark. So Monica McNutt, who apparently has risen in ESPN's lore, and I think she does some NBA games, which is really funny. She lays on the set, like she makes all these faces like she's something. She went and bashed Caitlin Clark, accusing little girls of racial bias over their support of Caitlin Clark. Let's take a listen.
Make it long-term commercially viable.
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games. But I think Caitlin represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think, same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons, and sometimes they may not be based in all truth.
Yeah, these people just can't. These people, and by the way, I know everybody's sensitive to these people being the women of the WNBA that play in and cover it, white and black, can't just understand a very simple thing. Like that interviewer, she knew how to bait Monica McNutt. It can't be that hard. But the folks that cover the NBA, these people that play in the NBA, these people that cover the NBA, there, I said these people, all of you, black, white, green, purple, why don't you understand a very simple thing? Her game is dynamic. Like Diana Taurasi was like a jackass to Caitlin Clark. Why? Her game is what people are drawn to. And then you go to the personality. Her game is different than any WNBA woman ever. And she wins, and she shoots from deep. It's no different than Steph Curry. How many times we got to say it? But the people that cover the WNBA, the African-American lesbian, cannot handle the fact that a white girl. Look, if it were a white girl from the East Coast, there's more people on the East Coast than there are in the Midwest. I mean, what's the problem? When you go watch Caitlin Clark, I did this. I went to go to a Fever game, not because I'm so enamored with women's basketball or because I'm so enamored with Caitlin Clark. No, I wanted to see what it was like on the court. Who did my eyes go to? And without question, it was a game against Phoenix. Big old Brittany Griner's out there. Very hot Sophie Cunningham is out there, but they didn't matter. All eyes go to Caitlin Clark because of the way she plays, the way she competes, the way she's a little bit, to use Shannon Sharps, we're a little nasty on the court, nasty to her teammates. She's screaming at a ref right in front of us. I had first row seats right there under the basket. Fantastic. And you draw, but they can't admit it. The people that cover the WNBA, the people you see on SportsCenter, the other players, they just can't admit it. Her game's different than ours. Her game's special. They always got to go to Little White Girl. I didn't hear anybody going to Little White Girl with Diana Taurasi. Why is that? I don't know. There's a jealousy there, no question. But they just can't bring themselves to say, we've never seen this before. I've seen more basketball in a year than Monica McNutt has seen in her lifetime. And it is absolutely a stated fact. You watch Caitlin Clark, you go to a game, all eyes on her. Why? The way it is. The way it was actually with Reggie Miller. I remember going to Market Square. I didn't know Reggie Miller was great. This is early. All eyes on him. Jordan, all eyes on him. There's very few all eyes on. You can say whatever you want about about Charles Barkley not winning a championship, but when you went to a game and Charles was playing, all eyes were on Sir Charles, period. I'm sure it was the same way in hockey, all eyes on Gretzky, but I get it. I get it. These folks can't understand that. The women of the WNBA can't understand that. They know it. They can't admit it. Media members, particularly African-American lesbians, can't understand it. They just can't. It makes them crazy that a little white girl could be so good and draw so much attention. And that's racism. Horrible racism that she's facing. But hey, it's every day. I don't know why Monica McNutt or anybody that professes to know basketball can't simply say, her game's just different than everybody we've ever seen. Ever. Now, don't tell me. I've watched. Ever. Tamika Catchy's great player. Seen her game. Asia Wilson, great player. Seen her game. She accuses little girls of supporting Caitlin Clark because she's white. The argument would hold far more weight if Clark were the first of her kind. She is not. Clark is not the first white woman to show she belongs on the basketball court. If little girls were so desperate to find a white woman to root for, they would have taken a similar liking to, say, Kelsey Plum. She set all kind of records. How about Sabrina Ionescu? Sabrina Ionescu is being thrown in our face. Nobody knows who the hell she is on these commercials, but that's all right. Or Cameron Brink. Cameron Brink's trying hard, man. Cameron Brink, she trying hard. She got makeup going. She got hair going. She's trying. Good for her, man. They didn't. Granted, McNutt's mission is not to be honest or informed. Her mission is to appease Black Twitter and the WNBA who are jealous of Clark. There you go. By trying to diminish Clark as a product of great wide hope. She's achieved. I don't care. People are going to call me all kind of names for these two rants, but you can suck it. I mean, I don't understand why people are allowed to go on national TV and just make these racist claims. I worked at ESPN, and I can't imagine back when I worked there, and it hadn't been that long, you were able to do that. But George Floyd came along, and ESPN got scared. Now you're able to say whatever the hell you want, as racist as you want, and face no backlash, unless, of course, you're Fran Fraschilla or Seth Greenberg. You know where I'm going here. Torpedo bats. Torpedo bats have taken Major League Baseball by storm. Players across the league have a wide range of views on the Yankees' latest innovation that seemingly played a role in them launching 15 home runs through 3 games. Hey, bring back the torpedo bat. Hey, pitchers, just give yourself a face mask. The bats look extraordinary, bizarre, abnormal, misshapen. Instead of the barrel that maintains an even circumference down the grain, has been a norm for decades in professional baseball. Not really. The Jackie Robinson bat was dynamic. The torpedo bats, well, they feature a thicker sweet spot before thinning off again towards the end. The result, in theory, is a piece of wood with more mass distributed in a specific location where contact is made. Those of you that had a Jackie Robinson bat back in the day, you know what I'm talking about. The hitters might be more susceptible to spin because there's less barrel at the end of the bat. It could help the hitters, but it also might hurt them, Tristan McKenzie, some nondescript Guardians pitcher says. trying to give hitters any kind of edge because pitching is only getting better, getting harder to hit. It's an interesting concept. When it first was introduced to us, I didn't know how widespread this thought was, or this thought process was, but it's getting around pretty quick. Had some other nondescript guy named Cedric Mullins. I think it's terrible. We'll see what the data says. I've never seen anything like it before. I feel like it's something used in slow pitch softball. It's genius. Put the mass in one spot. It might be Bush League. It might not be. But it's the Yankees. So they'll let it slide. Now, what are you going to do? I don't know. Like I always said, you don't like it, try it. I mean, try it. You'll like it. That used to be a commercial back in the day. Look, the Yankees are trying it, and right now it's smart. Oh, it's Bush League. Really? That's like the modern day, that's the baseball version of that's disrespectful, right? Anytime somebody gets something done to them that they don't like, they say, that's disrespectful. Okay, that's Bush League. That's what baseball players say. That's Bush League, man. Okay. All right. Well, all I can tell you is simply this. They're hitting home runs like crazy. Either they've been in the weight room, lifting, juicing, whatever, but the Yankees are pounding. And I honest to God, I'm telling you, man, the Jackie Robinson bat was the same thing, but it had a big, thick handle. I don't know. I don't know what's right or wrong, but I'll tell you this. You want the average fan back? Keep banging out home runs. Keep having a little controversy. I'll get the average fan back. Say a bat's illegal as guys are hitting 15 home runs in 3 games, and people will be like, hey, I want to tune in. Yeah. I don't need to tune into some over-muscled pitcher throwing it to some over-muscled batter swinging and missing. Hitting's hard in this day and age. It's almost impossible in this day and age. Pitching's gotten so good. Give the hitters an advantage for once, would ya? Da-da-da. Elon Musk and the boys around there over at DOGE. They've got new targets. I love this. You're going to love this. Hang in here with me. They got new targets in their sight as they wage war against government waste. Listen to this. Now targeting member of Congress who got strangely wealthy. This could get interesting. Shady wealth of politicians. We've seen net worth at hundreds of millions of dollars on $175,000 to a $275,000 a year salary. I go to the chin on this one. This seems strange. All right, let me hear it. Let me hear it, Elon Musk.
Has the DOGE team found any evidence that any of the radical left Democrats like Maxine Waters, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer have received money directly from USAID? And if so, will we be hearing about that evidence anytime soon?
Yeah. So there is a massive amount of corruption, but it is circuitous. So what happens is there's money that, obviously it's your taxpayer money, that is then sent to various government organizations who then send it to NGOs, which an NGO is a non-governmental organization, but obviously if it's a government-funded non-governmental organization, it's just an organization, it's just a government. And effectively there's a giant fraud loophole, which is that the government can send money to an NGO that is then no longer governed by the laws of the United States. So they'll send the money overseas to one NGO, then they'll go through a bunch of them, and then I'm highly confident that a bunch of that money then comes back to the United States and lands in the pockets of the people you just mentioned. But it is a circuitous route. It's not like it doesn't go directly, but let's just say that there's a lot of strangely wealthy members of Congress where I'm trying to connect the dots of how did they become rich while earning, how'd they get 20 million if they're earning 200,000 a year? It sounds, nobody can explain that. So something's, yeah, we're going to try to figure it out and certainly stop it from happening.
Man, that was loud. That was loud in my ear. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to cheer that? We're all like, wait a second here. If these clowns can go get rich, why can't we? What the hell? Let's go. I'm on a crusade, by the way. This is a side note. I'm on a crusade. It's a crusade to stop something in recruiting. I'll get to that a little bit later. But I am with Elon Musk. Like, how do you folks get so wealthy? How are you sitting there doing all these things? No wonder people that are in Congress want to stay there until they freeze. Or they want to stay there till they got to iron their face like Pelosi. I mean, what? You're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. You work a little bit. You don't really do much. Of course you want this. Can you imagine after he said that? Can you imagine the peddling in the background to get rid of Musk? I'm not going to lie to you. Somebody said this to me the other day after one of our shows. Hey, man, do you think Musk and Trump and all these people going against the establishment fear for their life every day? My answer is no. I don't think they fear for their lives, but my answer is yes. I think not necessarily Trump. Obviously, he's got Secret Service, but my intel tells me that nobody spends more on security than Elon Musk, and rightfully so. Think about that. Think about the people Musk is going after. Woo, baby. Don't get me started on House of Cards. Don't get me started on Kevin Spacey throwing that Mara lady onto the bus train. Don't get me started on that. Hey, as I'm within a year of a new deal here at OutKick, we started looking at salaries. Yeah, salaries of media folks. Stephen A. Smith's new 9-figure deal to stay at ESPN makes him one of the highest paid broadcasters in sports media. So it begs the question, are these sports analysts really worth the money they're bringing in? Out of the top 6 highest paid, I'm going to tell you what I think. All right, Tom Brady. Tom Brady at Fox Sports, $37.5 million average. Absolutely not worth it. Tom Brady, I guess, makes up for his lack of difference making in the booth by being a guy on call retainer for Fox to do shows, stuff like that. So I guess that's good. But no. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of Tom Brady's contract, but I do know this. If Tom Brady never did a game at Fox, nobody would know the difference. Same thing with Greg Olsen. You all love Greg Olsen. The only reason you love Greg Olsen is because he's the second-string quarterback. And who doesn't love the second-string quarterback? But I will say this, absolutely not. Like, I don't know the finances of the company, and I don't care to know the finances of the company, but this is not worth it. And if I've spoken out of turn to Fox executives, I'm sorry. I'm just saying it for you. Charles Barkley, $21 million, 10 years, $210 million, absolutely worth it. Charles Barkley works all freaking year except for a little bit of time after the Final Four before the NBA season. So that's wrong, actually. About 3 months he gets off. But Charles Barkley, his commercial value, his must-see TV, I don't know the ratings, but I do know this. People tune in to see Charles Barkley. I don't know that anybody tunes in to see Tom Brady. I don't know that they don't. Hey, man, Brady's doing this game. I want to hear what he has to say. Brady seems impersonal. Charles Barkley seems personal. Charles Barkley seems like he's talking to you. Charles Barkley can make fun of himself. Charles Barkley is self-deprecating. Charles Barkley has great humor. Doesn't take things too serious. Absolutely, Charles Barkley is worth it. Stephen A. Smith, $20 million. No. See, the deal with ESPN is they made Stephen A. Smith a star. He didn't make himself a star. He's become a caricature that people tolerate. And because he's on everything that ESPN does, certainly in the George Floyd era, where ESPN, certainly the white guys, middle-aged white guys in Building 4 at ESPN, Connor Schell and Burke Magnus, they don't want to be perceived. He's their go-to guy. It's like every political show now. Hey, we need an African-American guy to talk a little bit Republican. Get Stephen A. Smith on. That's why you see Smith on all these shows. He doesn't really move the needle. He acts like he does. The countdown shows, any show that he's on around a game doesn't even resonate. His little show in the morning is okay. It's okay. It gets some traction, and that's about it. So, no, he's not worth $20 million. Let me put it to you this way. If Stephen A. Smith went away and they hired somebody else to do his show, if they hired somebody, or they did, inside the NBA's coming in, and they didn't even worry about him on Monday Night Football, you wouldn't miss him. You wouldn't even know. You'd know on the show if you're a show fan. But no, of course he's not worth it. Troy Aikman, ESPN, $18 million. No. He's okay. He's good. but he's more valuable than what is Tom Brady. And I'm actually going to hedge this here. For whatever the reason, Monday Night Football thought they were floundering when Gruden and Tirico left. They've never really had an iconic booth. See, it's a lot like Tuesday night college basketball. When first Steve Lavin and Dave O'Brien were in, it was good, and then Tirico and I took it to a totally another level. Now, since we've been gone, you don't even know it's Super Tuesday anymore. That's kind of what happened with Monday Night Football. So I'm going to hedge this a little bit and say, yeah, maybe. Troy Aikman and Joe Buck have given Monday Night Football stability and credibility. No more boomer wagons going across. No more any of that stuff. No. He's been worth it. I'm going to change that. Tony Romo, I'm going to put him in the category of was worth it. Yeah, he was worth it. When he first got going and he was studying, he would know what's going to happen before. I'd been doing that for years on ESPN, true story. But I'm not the guy in the media. These guys saw it. It's football. The guys were all enthralled with it, with the media critics and all that. And it was great. Now he's just lazy. Now he's just lazy, comfortable, and doesn't really give you anything. So, yes, he was worth it when he signed that deal. Now, I got to tell you, I don't even know what network he's on. You should know the network the guy is on. I guess he's with Nance, so that's CBS. But absolutely, he's not worth it. Tony Romo was. Tony Romo was interesting. Tony Romo provided something that most hadn't been able to do. But Tony Romo now? No. Pat McAfee, $17 million, 5 years, 85. Absolutely is worth it. Pat McAfee saved the biggest show that they've got. He did. He saved the biggest show that ESPN has, and that is College Game Day on college campuses. Saved it. I said before they hired McAfee, the show had gotten stale. They needed a coach. Herb Street as a coach wasn't it. Herbie's Herbie. Desmond Howard is there because, well, we know why Desmond. He doesn't add anything. Maybe he laughs once in a while, says Michigan's great. The old coach was getting old. They couldn't drag him out there anymore. Saban, okay. But McAfee made the whole thing. McAfee's got a coolness and a wildness that people are gravitated to. And McAfee plays it very, very well. He gives an energy to that show that nobody ever really has. So absolutely. And then his afternoon show is good. The ratings are fine. But the YouTube portion of it explodes. And if you put McAfee out there, you know what? You're going to draw eyes. The thing about McAfee, though, and this is the only negative, is the jealousy. Like the WNBA, the little boys and gals back in Bristol, particularly the African Americans led by Stephen A. Smith, man, there's a definite schism. Everybody says there's not, but we all know there is. They can't lie to me. They can lie to you, but they ain't lying to me. That's the only problem with Pat is that he, because of his popularity, well, like Caitlin Clark, outed the people of their outed the people that can't stand somebody else moving in on their turf. In the WNBA's case, it's the lesbian, the African-American lesbian. In ESPN's case, there's a massive schism between McAfee and those that follow Stephen A. Smith. That's on them, not Pat. Pat is absolutely worth it. Hey, Mark Cuban got a little cranky, and I don't blame him. America's male version of Rosie O'Donnell, Mark Cuban, got pissed when he was called out by a Mavericks employee over the franchise's decision to trade away Luka Doncic. Stated, Cuban should be run out of Dallas before saying he would pay back his year-end bonus if it meant keeping Doncic, prompting a heated rant from Cuban while attempting to defend his tenure as the Mavericks owner. Yeah, I'm going to side with Cuban on this. Give a read. Tell me what you think. To this former employee that's all pissed. You didn't say a word when it showed up in your account, did you? Sure. Sure looked good. We made it to the finals, didn't it? I did every damn thing I could for 23 years. Kept prices lower than not only any other NBA team, but lower than college teams too. Had $2 tickets for multiple years. When I sold, there were always 4K tickets under $29. I made money 2 of the 23 years. I was a majority owner, lost hundreds of millions of dollars, and you kept collecting your salary. So my dirty money dollars didn't get a peep out of you for those 23 years, or when you got your check every 2 weeks, or when you got your bonus. Go back to what I said when I sold the team. I don't want my kids, family, to have to deal with people like you. I honestly get tired of the growing number of fans who become pricks on social media, people exactly like you. I paid your salary. I paid you a bonus. I didn't have to give you the Nico and the new owners do something none of us like, and you decide to F with me. Thank you for confirming I made the right decision. I agree with I agree with Cuban here. I 100% agree with Cuban here. I mean, damn, you're going to take the money and all of a sudden you're going to bitch, whine, and moan? You're going to bitch, whine, and moan at me because we traded a guy when I wasn't even the owner? People are weird. I'm with them. You just get tired of jackasses every single day coming at you. You do. I mean, I have the dumbest of the dumb come at me every day. I ain't mad about it. You can keep coming. It's great. Just keep watching. But damn, if you're the owner of a team or you're a pastor or you're a legend like I am, you know what? It gets hard. Life is hard. Life is great, man. It's absolutely effing fantastic. And I got to tell you, Mark Cuban, he's living the dream. He got out. If he did lose money 23 of those years, I guarantee he made it back when he sold it. I guarantee he did. Those NBA franchises went up, 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 up. So don't at me. Don't give me some swan song or don't give me some crying that you lost money. You made it up when you sold the team, and you knew that's what you were doing, if in fact you lost money on it. But I like it. I like when people come back. See, again, you know, the Stephen A. Smiths of the world, the Shannon Sharps of the world, for a variety of reasons, only celebrate Michael Jordan with a chip on his shoulder. We all got him. Mark Cuban got one. He ain't taking that ish from those people. He ain't taking that ish from those people that he paid, those people that he propped up, those people whose families his organization put through college, bought that new car for. He ain't taking it from those folk. And good for him, he shouldn't. Why should he? No reason. Good for Cuban. I'll support it. I'm sorry, I will support it. You all may not. You all may say he shouldn't respond, but we all got that chip. Only Michael Jordan's allowed to have that chip. Only the adulterous, deadbeat, gambling, ridiculous one is allowed to have that chip. Not us. Bullshit.